أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 180, Surah An-Nur, ayah number 31. وَقُلْ, and you say, O Prophet ﷺ, you give the command. To who? لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, to the believing women. What should they do? يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ, that they should also lower their gaze. When it comes to lowering the gaze, we think that only men are supposed to do that. Because men are the ones who find attraction in women. But we see that the same command is also given to the women. Because women are also human beings. They also have some hormones. They also have desires. And they can also find attraction in men. Therefore, just because you're a woman does not mean you don't need to lower your gaze. No. Men have to lower their gaze, and women also have to lower their gaze. And in the same way, يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ, they should lower their gaze. Min will be understood in two ways. That first of all, any time that a non-mahram man comes before them, what should they do? They should not look at him in the eyes. They should not have a good look at him. They should not observe the details of his body, the details of his features, of his face, of his clothes, the watch he's wearing, the clothes he's wearing. No. Rather they should lower their gaze. And not just non-mahram men, but also anything that is unlawful for them to look at. So if, for example, another person is exposing their awrah, something indecent is being done, a righteous woman cannot look at it. A righteous woman will lower her gaze. She will look away. She will not cast her glance on it. And secondly, min can be understood as some gazes. Meaning only when there is fitna, only where there is attraction, then she should immediately lower her gaze. And we see the evidence of this, which is that the Prophet ﷺ, when at the time of Eid, when there were these Abyssinian men who came and had this performance in the masjid, he had Aisha radiallahu anha watch that performance. Now, if it was not permissible for women to look at men at all, then would he allow her? No. So what do we see? That only where there is fitna, only when there is temptation, only where there is attraction, there a woman should avoid looking at a non-mahram man, and a man should avoid looking at a non-mahram woman. Similarly, we see that Fatima bint Qais, when she had to spend her iddah, there was a concern as to where she should spend her iddah. She could not spend it in the house, so basically she had to spend it elsewhere. And there was a concern, she didn't really have any relatives whose house she could stay at. So she was told by the Prophet ﷺ to spend her iddah at the house of Abdullah ibn Maktoum. Why? Because he was blind. So he could not see her. She could see him. She could see him. However, there were less chances of fitna. This is why it was permissible for her to spend her iddah over there. So we see that يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ, the women should also lower their gaze. How? That first of all, they should not have a good look at men. And secondly, when there are chances of fitna, then definitely they should look away. They should lower their gaze. وَيَحْفَظْنَ, and the same command is also given to the women, that they should also guard فُرُوجَهُنَّ, their private parts. How? By satr, by covering them, by not exposing them, and secondly, by tahaffuz, by protecting them, guarding them from zina, from sihaq, from lesbianism, from doing what is unlawful with them, masturbation. وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ, they should guard their private parts. From a hadith in Bukhari, we learn that a woman should not cling to another woman. A woman should not cling to another woman. That both of them have a very deep physical contact, or a complete physical contact for a very long time. And unfortunately, sometimes the way people hug one another, it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. That they will fully cover you from all sides, and they will not let go of you, and they will squeeze you, and the chest is being touched, and the rest of the body is also being touched. What did the Prophet say? A woman should not cling to another woman. This is inappropriate. So even when we have to hug one another, whereas in reality, the command is that when you meet one another, the shaking of the hands is what is recommended. Hugging all the time, this is not recommended. Unfortunately, every time we see someone, we have to hug them, and it has to be thrice. Once here, second time there, and the third time there. And there has to be a fake kiss and a fake hug. And it only adds difficulty, doesn't it? Sometimes when you have to meet one person after the other, 3 times you have to hug each person. And you have that fake smile. You're forcing that smile. And you're forcing those hugs. It doesn't come from the heart. It's very difficult. And remember that when you do hug someone, hug with moderation. Because it's not good to cling to the other person. Similarly, whether it is between sisters, or is between a sister and a brother, or a mother and a son, even when the son has become an adult, it is not permissible to cling to the other person. Similarly, sleeping in the same bed under one cover is not permissible for women or for 2 men. It's not permissible, like that hadith that I mentioned to you. So sometimes at sleepovers, what happens? We love hugging one another. We love our sisters. We love to be with one another, and we'll end up in the same beds, under the same covers, being very close to one another. This is inappropriate. So, يَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. This is part of protecting one's private parts. This is part of protecting one's chastity. So they should guard their private parts. And just as for the men, we looked at what the satr, what the awra of the man was. So for a woman, what is her awra? There is a difference of opinion. Some scholars, they have said that the awra of a woman before another woman, the awra of a woman before another woman, is also from the navel to the knee. Why? Because women, what do they have to do? They have to breastfeed. They have to nurse their children. And this is why the top part of the body has not been included in the satr according to some scholars. However, other scholars disagree. That just because this is not part of the awra does not mean you go about topless, or you go about wearing a sleeveless dress, or a dress whose neck is extremely deep, or the back is being exposed. This is inappropriate. Because the more haya a person has, the more shyness a person has, the more they will cover themselves. So yes, although a particular limit has not been mentioned, that a woman must be covered from this part of the body to that part of the body in front of another woman, what will tell you how much to cover yourself? Your shyness will tell you. But definitely from the navel to the knee is definitely satr, definitely awra. And above that, below that, a woman will cover herself as much haya as she will have. You understand? I remember once this girl had a very detailed discussion with me because she wanted to know if she could wear a sleeveless dress at one of the occasions. And this is the answer that I gave her. That as much haya you will have, that is how much you will cover yourself. There is no restriction as to, okay, you cannot wear sleeveless, you cannot wear short sleeves, you must always wear full sleeves, and that your neck should not be that low. However, we should remember this concept of haya. If a woman is wearing a very low neck, to the point that her chest is being exposed, her breast is being exposed, to the point that her neck from the back is being exposed, as she lifts her arms, her armpits are being exposed, this is against haya. This is against shyness. And this leads to wrong things. It leads to wrong behavior. It leads to looking at haram and not lowering of the gaze. So it's possible that it's culturally accepted for a person to wear a very low neck, for a person to wear sleeveless tops. Maybe it is culturally accepted. However, we have to see that there's also this concept of haya in our religion. And we must, whatever we wear, according to the haya that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in every person's heart. So, وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ, and they should also guard their private parts. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ. One more command is being given to the women, on top of the commands that were given to men. And what is that command? That the women, they should not reveal, they should not expose zinatahunna, their beauty. The women should not expose their beauty, illa except ma zahara minha, what is apparent by itself, what is exposed by itself unintentionally. The word yubdina is from the root letters ba, dal, waw, from the word ibda. And ibda is to reveal something, to expose something, to show something. To expose something so that it can be seen by the other. So they should not expose zinatahunna. Now what does it mean by this, that they should not expose their beauty? What does it mean by beauty? How do we understand beauty over here? Because every person has their own standards of beauty. If a person thinks that they look very beautiful in red, it's possible that a man sees them and says, yuck. It doesn't suit them at all. So every person has their own standards. So how do we understand what zina is? Zina is not going to be understood as what I find as attractive, what you find as attractive, but what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us as to what zina is. If you look at the literal meaning of the word zina, zayyanun, zana yazinu, it means to beautify something, to make something look nice, to make something look beautiful. And zina is used for something that is beautiful in itself, something that is beautiful in itself, like for example, gold jewelry, for example, the face of a woman, the body of a woman. This is what? Beautiful in itself. So itself is zina. And secondly, zina also is used for something that is used to beautify. Something that is used to beautify another. So for example, makeup, jewelry, nice clothes, perfume. So understand, zina is used in two ways. First of all, something that is beautiful in and of itself, and something that is used to beautify the other. And remember that zina, it is of three levels. First of all, there's the zina of the nafs. At the first level, zina of the nafs, the beauty of the nafs, internal beauty. What makes a person's soul beautiful? What makes a person beautiful from inside? And what is it? It is their faith, it is their knowledge, it is their good manners, it is their positive thinking, it is the knowledge that they have, it's the generosity of their heart, it's the friendliness in their behavior. These things, what do they make a person look like? Very beautiful. Then you don't look at their physical appearance, what do you look at? Their manners, their behavior. So the first level of zina is of the nafs. Secondly, the second level of zina is at the badan, at the physical body. The physical beauty of a person, of the badan, of the body. And what does this include? The physical beauty of a person, the facial features, for example, the skin, the type of the skin, the color of the skin. Similarly, the hair, the type of hair, the color of the hair, the volume of the hair. Similarly, the teeth, the shape of the teeth, the arrangement of the teeth, the color of the teeth. Similarly, the height of a person, even that adds beauty. Similarly, the various parts of the body, for example, hands, for example, legs, a beautiful figure. And we see that every person and every nation and every era has their own standards of what is beautiful. Every person, every nation, and every era has their own standards of what is beautiful when it comes to physical beauty. You understand? Like for example, even within the same family, one person might like very tall people. Another person might think tall people are not that good looking. It's possible, right? One person might think that having particular facial features or long and slender legs is beauty, and the other person might think otherwise. Similarly, over time, people have different standards. Different cultures, people have different standards. Then the third level of zina is external. What does it mean by that? What a person adds onto his or her body, or a person surrounds himself with in order to look more beautiful. So what a person puts on himself, what a person surrounds himself with in order to enhance his or her beauty. in order to appear more beautiful. So for example, a woman has lovely hands. What does she do to make them look even more beautiful? She puts nail polish, for example. She grows her nails, which according to some cultures is a part of beauty, but according to our religion, it's actually tafath, it's actually filth, which must be discarded. Similarly, a person is perfectly fine, they're not smelling, they don't smell bad, but what do? They put perfume, they put some fragrance in order to smell nice. Similarly, a person wears nice clothes. The body is very beautiful. However, a person wears nice clothes, why? In order to look even nicer. A person wears jewelry. Similarly, a woman, she puts on a purse on her shoulder. Now, if she goes without a purse, she might not look that beautiful. But when she wears that purse, even if it's empty, right? It's going to make her look more beautiful, especially if it matches her shoes, if it goes with her outfit, it's going to make her look more beautiful. Similarly, shoes, the hairstyle. All of this, what does it do? It makes a person look more beautiful. And remember that this external beauty, this is a reflection of one's wealth. Isn't it so? It's a reflection of one's money, how much a person has. If they can afford a lot, they will have, a matching purse and matching shoes. And it's not just about affordability, it's also about interest, right? What a person likes, what a person is more interested in. So the zina, the external zina, it also includes the wealth that a person owns, because that does make a person appear to be more beautiful. And it also includes the status of a person, what status he has in the society. For example, what job does he have? Doesn't it make a person more beautiful? The job that a person has, the work that they do, the profession that they have. Similarly, the house that they own, what they've put in the house, the places where a person goes to, where he travels to, how he travels, what he eats, where he eats. All of that is what? Zina, external beauty, that makes a person appear as more beautiful. So these are the three levels of beauty. Of the nafs, internal beauty. Then secondly, of the badan, physical beauty. And thirdly, external beauty, what a person adds in order to enhance his or her beauty. And remember that zina is of two types. It is of two types. First of all, there is zina that is fitri, meaning natural beauty. By khalq, by creation, how a person has been made, how a person is, for example, that how a person's face is, how their features are, how their skin is, what their height is, what their figure is. This is what? By nature, natural beauty. By khalq. This is fitri beauty. And the second type of zina is masnu'i, meaning artificial beauty. What does it mean by that? What a person has put on her body in order to beautify herself more. Such as makeup, fragrance, what else? Don't tell me you don't know. Jewelry, nice clothes, all of these are what? They are part of masnu'i zina. So over here when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ, they should not reveal their zina. What does it mean by that? Both type of zina. They should not reveal their fitri zina, and they should not reveal their masnu'i zina either. They should not reveal the parts of the body that are beautiful in and of themselves, and they should also not expose what they have put onto their bodies in order to beautify themselves further. So you understand? What is meant by لَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ? They should not expose their zina, meaning they should not expose their fitri zina, the natural zina that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in each and every person. And every person is beautiful. Every person. Because some people say that no, it's only those people who are very beautiful who are supposed to cover themselves. No. Every person is supposed to be beautiful, especially women. Ask any man. He will declare any woman to be beautiful. So, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ, first of all, includes that they should not expose their physical body, and secondly, that they should not expose the zina that they are wearing, the beauty that they have added to themselves. Now with regards to the beauty that a person has added to his body, we see in the Quran that the word zina has been used in various ways. That the beauty that has been added to the body, what does it include? Because there are many things that a person does in order to enhance her beauty. You wear nice clothes, you wear fragrance, you put makeup on, you do many, many things. So, does it mean that a person should cover everything? What can be exposed and what should be covered? Let's look at the Quran. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe zina to be as? If you look at it in the Quran, the word zina is used in a number of ways. First of all, zina is used for clothing. It is used for clothes. Which clothes? Which clothes? The very nice party wear clothes? Is it? No. Any clothes that a person wears. Even if they wear at home. Because when a person wears clothes, they look more beautiful. And if a person goes about without clothes, then it does not make them look beautiful. You see, all creatures, they have been created such that they have their clothes on their bodies. Whether it's in the form of feathers, or it is in the form of hair, or in whatever form. But the human being is the only creation that has been created without natural clothing. They only have skin. And what makes a person beautiful is when they wear clothes. Remember we learned earlier that قَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ لِبَاسًا يُوَارِي سَوْآتِكُمْ وَرِيشًا, that it covers your private parts and it's also rish. And remember rish, what rish means? The feather of a bird. So similarly, when a person wears clothes, no matter what kind of clothes there are, whether it is simple house clothes or it is party wear, what does it do? It makes a person look more beautiful. What's the evidence for that? That the word zina is actually used for clothes and any clothes. In Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 31, we learn, Ya bani Adama, khudu zinatakum inda kulli masjid. O children of Adam, take your zina at every masjid. Meaning when you pray salah, what should you do? Put on your zina. Meaning put on your clothes. Now tell me, when you pray, do you wear party wear? No. Do you wear those clothes that you wear to a wedding? No. What are you wearing? Normal house clothes. So, house clothes come in the category of what? Zina. What does Allah say? La yubdina zinatahunna. They should not expose those clothes. Rather, what should they do? They should cover them up with something on top of the clothes. Which is what we will learn about in Surah Al-Ahzab. And the word that is used for the garment that is used to cover the house clothes is jilbab. The house clothes that you're wearing, or the party wear that you're wearing, anything that you're wearing on the inside, you're not allowed to expose it to non-mahram men. So what are you supposed to do? Cover that up with an outer garment. Cover that up with an outer garment. Clear? Secondly, the word zina is also used in the Quran for the glitter and the sparkle that stands out and it attracts the attention of others. So in other words, jewelry, sparkly stuff, you could say makeup, glitter on the eyes, the glitter that could be on the clothes. Sometimes that glitter is also found on the jilbab, on the abaya. What's the evidence for that? We learn in Surah As-Saffat, ayah number 6, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةٍ الْكَوَاكِبِ, that we have adorned the sky of the world with the adornment of kawakib, of the stars. So the stars have been called what? Zina. What are stars? Sparkles, right? Shiny stuff, glittery stuff that attract your attention. Attract your attention. So whether those sparkles are on the eyes or those sparkles are on the clothes of a person, what have we been told over here? La yubdina zinatahunna. They should not expose that. Remember, what is being said over here is not that they should not wear it. No, it's the right of a woman to adorn herself. أَوَمَنْ يُنَشَّأُ فِي الْحِلْيَةِ. A woman has been described in the Quran as someone who has been brought up in gold jewelry, in ornaments, in jewelry. So it's the right of a woman to adorn herself. So what we have been told over here is don't expose it. Don't show it to non-mahram men. Because you're not supposed to be a feast for other people's eyes. You are precious, you're valuable. Therefore, don't expose yourself in that way. Similarly, we see in Surah Taha, ayah 87, about jewelry in particular, that the Bani Israel, they said, وَلَكِنَّا حُمِّلْنَا أَوْزَارًا مِّن زِينَةِ الْقَوْمِ, that we were made to carry burdens from the ornaments of the people. So zinat al-qawm over there, zina refers to what? The gold jewelry that they were carrying, which they could not carry anymore. So what did the people do? They melted it all together and they turned it into a calf. So the word zina in the Quran is also used for jewelry. It is used for glitter and sparkle that attracts the attention. So what do we learn from here? That a woman is not allowed to expose her glitter, to expose her sparkles, to expose her jewelry to non-mahram. Thirdly, the word zina is also used for decoration. That when a person has dressed up fully, they're wearing nice clothes, they're wearing attractive clothes, they made up their hair, they've done their makeup, they're wearing fragrance, and the way they're carrying themselves or what they have with them also adds to their beauty. So for example, they have a phone or they have a bag, and that adds to their beauty. What's the evidence for that? That Qarun in the Quran, he has been described as, in Surah Al-Qasas, ayah number 79, that فَخَرَجَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ, that he came out before his people in his adornment. He came out before his people all dressed up, smelling good, looking good, and he had his wealth with him as well. So when a person dresses up, and a person puts on his best outfit, best makeup, best jewelry, best shoes, best bag, can you think of it? Can you imagine it? So that is what? Zina. What does Allah say? لَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Similarly in Surah Al-Kahf, ayah number 7, we learn, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا. Whatever that is on the earth, we have made it zina. What is on the earth? On the ground. You have lovely green, bright grass. You have lovely, bright colored flowers. So what is that? Zina. So for example, if a person is wearing clothes which have nice flowers on them, if a person is wearing an abaya which has flowers on them, big, big flowers, attractive flowers, which catch the attention, then what does that come in? Zina. What does Allah say? لَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Now remember that when a person is wearing zina, it could be of two types. First of all, it could be zahiri, it could be apparent, it could be visible. Like for example, the clothes that a person is wearing, they are being exposed, the bright color of the clothes, the embroidery on the clothes. This is what? Visible. This is zahiri. This is apparent zina. And the second type of zina is makhfi. It is hidden. Like for example, the fragrance that a person is wearing. Can you see it? No, it's hidden. Similarly, as a person is walking, you can hear their bangles move. That is what? Hidden zina. Makhfi zina. Similarly, as a person is walking, they're wearing clothes, they're wearing an outer garment, for example, an abaya even, which is of a very glossy material, very shiny material. So as they walk, you can see the light striking off of it. This is what? Makhfi zina. It's not that obvious. The color is black. However, there is that subtle beauty in it. Do you understand? There's that subtle beauty in it that it almost looks very seductive. That a person, as they're walking, light is shining off, and you can see the garment, moving back and forth, waving. This is what? Makhfi zina, hidden zina. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ, they should not expose their zina, it includes all of the zina. Whether it is of the badan, or it is external, or it is fitri, or it is masnu'i, or it is of the clothes, or it is of the jewelry, or it is of how a person has dressed up, or it is zahiri, or it is makhfi, any kind of zina. What has Allah said? لَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. So to summarize, what the scholars have said about this particular part of the ayah is that the women should not expose their zina. This includes two things. To summarize all of that, it includes two things. That first of all, they should not expose their mahasin, the parts of the body that are beautiful in themselves. The parts of the body that are beautiful in themselves. That whether something is put on them or not, they're beautiful anyway. Like for example, the arm of a woman, the shin of a woman. What is it? It's beautiful. It's very attractive. So what should a woman do? She should not disclose it. Rather, she should cover it. And secondly, this includes the zina that a woman is wearing. What she has put on her body in order to beautify herself further. Whether it is in the form of makeup, or it is in the form of beautiful clothes, or it is in the form of sparkles on her abaya, or it is in the form of shoes, very bright colored, attractive shoes, unless if the jilbab is long enough to cover it. So, لا يبدين زينتهن. And how will a woman not expose her zina? By covering it up. Simple solution. By covering it up. So for example, if a woman is wearing nice clothes inside, what is she going to do? Wear a big shawl, wear a jilbab on top to cover up those clothes. If a woman is wearing some nice, lovely, pretty, colorful shoes, what is she going to do? She's going to wear a jilbab that's long enough to cover those shoes. Similarly, if a woman has made up her hair all nice, then what should she do? She should cover those up. Similarly, if a woman is wearing makeup on her face, then what should she do? Cover the face as well. So, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. Now, with regards to this, Maymuna bin Sa'd, because it might be a bit difficult for us to do. We're so used to it. There's something so difficult. Maymuna bin Sa'd, she narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, a woman who beautifies herself, and then walks among non-mahram men, attracting their attention, exultantly walking amongst them, showing off her beauty, showing off her zina, she will be in complete darkness on the Day of Judgment. She will be in complete darkness on the Day of Judgment, with not even a single beam of light. Remember, we learned that on the Day of Judgment, when people have to finally cross the bridge, at that time, there will be complete darkness. And each person will have light according to their faith. And that bridge that every single person has to cross, what is it like? What is it like? Sharper than a sword and thinner than a hair. Don't you need light in order to cross that? Of course you do. So a woman who displayed her zina, she made it difficult for other men to lower their gaze, then she did not only disobey her Lord herself, but she was also a cause of disobedience for others. Because we see that in the previous ayah, men have been told to lower their gaze. How can they lower their gaze when there are women who are dressed up so much that even when they're trying to lower their gaze, constantly there are bright colors that are attracting them, that are causing their eyes to divert, that are causing their eyes to look at them? So when a woman becomes a fitna for others as well, then there is double consequences for her.